attempts to hide stuffed animal to prove that I'm actually an adult. Welcome back to my YouTube 101 series. By now, I'm sure all of you know that I'm doing a how-to YouTube 101 series for this month of February because I am about to hit my 3-year anniversary here on YouTube. I've learned a lot within these last couple of years, and I get a lot of questions as to how I find my music or how I edit videos, how to get brand deals. So I've made a collective series answering every single one of these questions, taking you step by step in this process of becoming a YouTuber. I hope that you have found this helpful. A lot of your feedback has been so rewarding to read and watch as you comment, so I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying this video. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about how to make thumbnails, how I make my thumbnails, and where to make your thumbnails, because I know recently that PicMonkey, which a lot of YouTubers use, went from being a free platform to now a subscription-based website. So that does change things, and I'm here to help you kind of navigate the system and figure out how to make collectively great thumbnails to help support your channel and kind of bring it up a level. In no way am I trying to say that I am a master at thumbnails. I've definitely learned some tricks and have an idea as to what type of thumbnails I like to make. Thumbnails are kind of like a personal style choice depending on your channel. So my thumbnails look nothing like somebody else's thumbnails, and their thumbnails look nothing like somebody else's thumbnails, but everyone kind of has that signature look, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. Before we get started, I'm just going to say that if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that red subscribe button. We really are like one big family over here with lots of love to go around, and it's never too late to join. All you have to do is hit subscribe. If you find this video helpful at all, don't forget to leave a like because this really does help with my content, as well as comment down below because I love responding to comments and I always shout out the first comment on my social media. I'm going to link all the previous videos in this series in the description box below, so be sure to go catch up if you are not, because I'm trying to do these in a chronological order to best fit you as a beginning YouTuber, if that makes sense. So let's get right on into today's video because I am pre-filming about 5 more in these series and then I gotta go to work. I've got my handy dandy YouTube notebook right in front of me. I took a lot of notes on today's video because we're going to be talking all about how to make thumbnails. First, as many of you probably can guess, I make my thumbnails on PicMonkey. It looks very PicMonkey-like if you are also a user of PicMonkey. PicMonkey is great. I know that the majority of YouTubers love using PicMonkey or Adobe Photoshop or any kind of Photoshop-esque app that allows you to edit thumbnails. The thing with PicMonkey is that it used to be free, and a couple months ago they changed it to a subscription-based platform where you have to pay either monthly or annually to use their website. Because of this, a lot of creators turned away and stopped using PicMonkey, but I have a couple things to say about this. First, PicMonkey has a 7-day free trial. So I recommend doing the 7-day trial and just making a bunch of reusable things that you will be using in your edits, such as the social media bar. You can make this on PicMonkey. It's really simple. You just find the social media images in transparency on Google and then add in your text, make the thing on PicMonkey transparent, save it, and then you can add it as an overlay to all of your videos, as well as my PO box. I got the speech bubble right off of PicMonkey, added in the text, made it transparent, and I use it in almost every single video. And then your end slate. So an end slate is at the end of the video, self-explanatory. You can add in all of your socials, the button to hit subscribe, your vlog channel if you have one. You can really personalize it and you can use it in every single video, so I recommend using PicMonkey to create this. There are a lot of things that you can do during the 7-day trial that will take your channel further if you don't want to be spending that type of money. This isn't sponsored by PicMonkey at all, but let's say that during this trial you fall in love with PicMonkey and you believe that you cannot go without it. I personally choose to pay monthly for PicMonkey. I find it worth it. It's not that bad. I pay $7 a month. They also have a yearly fee of $48, I believe, and then they charge you once during the year, but that's too much commitment for me, so I just pay $7 a month. It's like the price of 1 Starbucks a month, so I think I can manage. Another tip, if you have YouTube friends, is you guys could split the price of using PicMonkey. I actually considered this with a couple of my YouTube friends because $7 split between 2 people is like $3.50 a month and so on, so that's another option. Then both of you have access to PicMonkey and it's not as expensive. Before I walk you through how I make a personal thumbnail, I just kind of want to talk about overall basic tips. You want to make sure that your thumbnail is clear, concise, and simple. I like to bring up the saturation a little bit so it looks bright and kind of pop in on the YouTube subscription feed. You want to make sure that the text is big enough for people to read and that it doesn't blend into the background. There are a lot of tips for this. You can blur out the background, add white behind the text so you can see it more clearly, or add in little rectangular boxes like I have in some of my older thumbnails behind the text so it kind of brings it out more. Don't forget to pose for a thumbnail. I actually have a sticky note on the side of my camera in all caps that says thumbnail because when I first started making YouTube videos I would always forget to pose for a thumbnail, and then you have to choose a screenshot and it gets difficult. So it's easier just to pose for thumbnails at the beginning or at the end of filming your videos so that you have some really nice basic still frames to use. You want to make sure that your thumbnail accomplishes a certain branded look. By this I mean that when you see someone's thumbnail on the YouTube homepage or in your subscription feed, it looks like that person's video. For example, Aspen and Parker, or Aspen over its main channel, she has a very specific look. She uses the same font and same colors, same background for all of her videos. If you see her thumbnail and you're a viewer, you automatically know that that is an Aspen Ovard video. Same goes for the family vloggers, The Boss Life, which I have been so obsessed with. They're a smaller channel, I'll link them down below, but they are growing rapidly. Their 19-year-old daughter just had a baby girl. So cute, so fun to watch, so authentic. Their thumbnails all look the same. They have the same kind of sepia toned hue, as well as their logo watermarked in the corner. Oh my gosh, that's another thing I almost forgot to say, but if you're doing the 7-day trial for PicMonkey, create your watermark. That's this little guy at the bottom of my video. You can choose a font, choose an image, and then just make it transparent, and you can have it in the corner of your videos to help brand your content. But back to your signature style thumbnails. The point of these styled thumbnails is kind of like if you have an Instagram theme that you're going for. It looks nice, it goes with your brand, and it helps viewers recognize your thumbnails in your subscription box. If one week you come out with a video with a very different style thumbnail, they may not realize that it's your channel if they're scrolling quickly through their subscription boxes and may not watch it. So it's pretty important to have that signature style thumbnail to help viewers recognize that this is one of your videos that you are creating. I kind of go through phases with favorite fonts or favorite thumbnail styles, but I think if you take a look through my videos, you'll see that I do have a relatively signature thumbnail style. Beyond helping people realize that it's your content, it looks relatively nice collectively on your YouTube page. Now that we've gone over all of that, let's get right into how I personally choose to make my thumbnails. I've got my laptop right here. I'm going to start recording the screen and we'll both just dive into my laptop and edit this one together. And just a life hack, if you don't know how to record your laptop screen, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is go into QuickTime Player under File and hit New Screen Recording. Alright, so let's head to PicMonkey.com. For the sake of this video, we are going to be editing the thumbnail that I made for my Should You Sign with a YouTube Network video. I already uploaded this video and made the thumbnail, but I figured it was a very simple thumbnail that follows what I typically do for a thumbnail, so it'd be a really great example to show you. First thing that I like to do when I start editing a thumbnail is sharpen it a little bit. It may look a bit too sharpened at this point, but keep in mind that your thumbnail is going to be about this big when people view it, so I always like to edit my thumbnails at a smaller size. However, if you don't like that, we can always increase it a little bit as well. The next thing that I like to do is just add some saturation and color to it, and then if I look a little bit yellow, we'll bring down the temperature just a tad as well. After that, I like to add some contrast, as well as some shadows to give that contrast a different look, and then increase the brightness a little bit. Depending on the image, I may mess with the highlights a tad, but it totally depends on the colors that are already in the image. And then after that, I like to do a undo and redo just to make sure that it looks better than before. I personally think it does. It's a lot brighter and clearer. So next we're going to go into the effects tab on PicMonkey and blur the background to bring out the figure. I like to soften it by 100% and fade it 0%. We're going to increase the brush size and just clarify and really bring out whoever is in the thumbnail. After that, I like to add some white to the background. Depending on the image though, you could add a dark frame like this, which I'm not going to do, or a white one, which I like because I think it makes everything look brighter on my YouTube channel. We're just going to bring down the size a little bit, as well as the intensity, and fade it a little bit. I like it to be very, very subtle in the background. And by doing this, I also remove it from me in the thumbnail as well, so I stand out beyond the whitened background. And we'll just make it a little bit whiter. That's pretty much all I do in regards to editing the photo. Now we are moving on to text. As you can probably see in my recent text, I always use the font The Gothic, Antonio, or Coffee Break if I'm going for a more cursive look. I'm pretty sure I used League Gothic in this original thumbnail, so that's what we're going to do. And in all caps, I am writing Is It, because that is the first part. Move it up to the left corner, change it to white, because my fonts are typically in white, and then under effects, I'm going to add a drop shadow. Change the distance to 2, the angle to 360, the intensity to 100, horizontal blur to about 11 or 10, and then add a tad of a vertical blur about the same size. I just think that this makes the fonts look a bit more professional and stand out. Instead of redoing this on the right side, I'm just going to hit Command C to copy it and Command V to paste, so that now the font is the exact same size with the exact same effects, and I don't have to do that all over again. I'm going to delete Is It and write a scam, since that is what my original thumbnail had. As you can see, it's a tad too big for the right side, so let's just make it a little bit smaller. At this point, I like to add the grid just so that that I can make sure that my fonts are relatively aligned with each other. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this definitely helps me make sure that they're around the same. And now we'll just get rid of the grid. At this point, you could stop here. The thumbnail looks nice and neat. It has clear fonts, a blurred background, and an emotion in the figure so you know kind of what the video is about. However, I like to add emojis to mine, so I'm just quickly going to Google nervous emoji transparent. Transparent is the key word because without this you're going to get an emoji with like a black or white box behind it. So for example, when you click on an image and it looks like this and you try to drag it, you'll see that it has the white background still, and you don't want that because it's going to show up in your thumbnail. You want an emoji that has the gray and white grid in the background because that means that it's transparent. So I'm dragging it to my desktop. I'm also going to Google quickly a thumbs down emoji transparent because I believe that I used this as well in the original thumbnail. Drag that as well to my desktop. And then back on PicMonkey on the left side, if you click on the butterfly, this is where all the overlays are. PicMonkey does come with a ton of built-in overlays that I do use often, but when I'm going for a specific emoji, I'll just add it for my computer. I'll bring it down in size a little bit. Now with my emojis, and any overlay for that matter, I like to fade it just a little bit so that it doesn't look as potent as I do in the thumbnail, and kind of blur it, bring it to the background a little bit, just so it's a little more faded and it's there, but it's not right in your face, if that makes sense. Next, I'm going to add the thumbs down as well. And again, just kind of shrink it in size, move it to the bottom left corner. Again, we're going to fade it about 11% or so. And that's about it. I'm pretty sure this is exactly what the original thumbnail looks like, so we're just going to export it to our computer. You want to make sure that you save the quality as Sean because this is the highest resolution for thumbnails. It just makes sure that it looks good. I'm going to quickly name it Network because that's what I know it is, and export it to my computer. And that's about it. That's exactly how I make my thumbnails. I hope that this has helped. If you have any more questions about how to make thumbnails, please leave them down below. In fact, if you have questions about anything regarding YouTube editing and video making, please let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. With all of that being said though, I'm going to go and film the following episode in the series. Be sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss it. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, do not forget to leave a thumbs up because it does help, as well as comment down below and subscribe to this channel. We really are like one big family on my channel with lots of love to go around, and it's never too late to join. All you have to do is hit subscribe. Also, don't forget to click the bell because this notifies you every time I upload a new video, and I always shout out the first comment on my socials. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you very, very soon in my next video. Bye!